Hello and welcome back to the Faith and Culture Show. I'm Catherine Kemp, your hostess for the show. This is where we dig into those difficult topics of our day. We dig into them so that we can have educated conversations with the culture around us. Conversations that count. Conversations with an eternal perspective. Today, I have the honor of having a returning guest, LeeShai Lemesh, who has been affiliated as the MC with Shen Yun. If you're not familiar with them, we need to get you familiarized with them because it's a dance organization that travels across the world showing what China used to be before the CCP took over. And this is important for not only Christians, but from people from any faith, because there's a tendency for the CCP to not allow for anyone to believe in anything other than the government and government control. And in order to have those conversations with people around us, I want to get LeeShai back on and thank him for being here. Hi, LeeShai. Thank you for being here again.
My pleasure. How are you?
I'm well. Thank you. And how are you?
Good. It's been hot here in New York. We're just in the beginning of upstate New York, a couple hours from the city, and it's been summer finally. We have the return of the summer. It's been nice.
I know, it is nice. The bugs aren't great, but that comes along with the territory. I understand.
Yeah, good beach weather though, if you can get out there.
Yes. Well, thank you for being here again to talk about all of this. I have just been noticing a lot of movement with the CCP, and I kind of wanted to ask somebody who knows, how their behavior is, because we don't want it to come here to the United States.
Yeah.
And so you're a fantastic person to pick your brain about all of this, because, well, first of all, with Shen Yun, you travel with them. And have you I know that you do the tour here in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Do you travel with them when they're abroad?
Oh yeah. We've been all over the world. So I joined Shen Yun the very first year that we got started. So that was the end of 2006. It was right here in New York. That's why I moved to this area. And it was people who, many of them escaped persecution in China. They came from around the world, elite artists, choreographers, and composers, and dancers, and musicians, and animators, and all these people. And they said, let's put together a performance that shows what China was like before communism, that really brings back traditional Chinese culture and spans 5,000 years of civilization. And in doing that, we're not going to shy away from showing what's happening in China today as well. And so every performance is a journey of about 20 different short pieces, each maybe 5 minutes long. And then within those 20 pieces, we have maybe 1 or 2 dances that talk about human rights issues in China. Specifically, we like to focus on the persecution of Falun Gong practitioners, people who practice meditation and follow the very controversial principles of truthfulness, compassion, and forbearance, or to be true, good, and resilient, if you want to put it that way. And that's come under persecution by the CCP. And in fact, we just marked 26 years of persecution yesterday with lots of events. And so the first year when we were established, we traveled. We had one group, one performing arts company, about 90 people, dancers, orchestra, and technical crew, singers, and we traveled all over the world. The next year, we had two groups. There's so much demand, and so we had one group go to Europe, and then I was in that group, and then one group go to Asia. And then the third year, we had three groups. We now have eight. We're now in our 19th, going to go into our 19th season. So yeah, I've traveled, kind of all over the world. There's certainly countries we haven't been to yet, but all over Asia, Australia, Europe, all over the U.S. I've been to every state but Alaska. I want to get that one soon. And ironically, the one place we can't perform is China. That's the one place where you cannot perform traditional Chinese culture. And the CCP, to get back to what you started a conversation with, and I hope not to disappoint because you set the bar pretty high in terms of what we're going to talk about. The CCP has really been trying to sabotage us the entire time. And now we have a term for it. It's called transnational repression. We've also heard of a term, foreign malign influence. That is when a regime, specifically the CCP, Russia does this a little bit too, and other countries as well, Iran perhaps. But the CCP wrote the playbook on this when they try to export their persecution into other countries. And so we saw that as early as 2006. And even in my human rights work in the years before that, from 2001, I saw this happening. We didn't have a term for it. We didn't know what to call it. But we said the Chinese regime, through its embassies and consulates, through its secret agents, straight out of spy movies, through its what we call United Front organizations, which are these pseudo-regime affiliated institutions like Chinese student and scholar associations and universities, Confucius institutes, media entities, police stations that they set up in America, all these different entities that actually do the work of the foreign dictatorship right here on American soil. So through all this, they're really undermining our freedom. They try to tell us what we can and cannot watch or believe. They definitely trying to silence voices of Chinese people in the diaspora, including many American citizens who are critical of the Chinese regime, to try to make those voices go away. And it's become violent to the level of death threats and tire slashings and spying and all these beatings on the streets of many American cities. So we've seen that going on for a while, and it's spread to other groups, not just to Falun Gong and Shen Yun, but now it's a big problem in American society.
I understand. We did talk a little bit about how it's actually setting up police stations during our previous regime that I think they were installed in here in the United States between 2021 and the end of 2024. But how do they? First of all, tell us what kind of tactics do they use on Chinese people? People who come over here to try and oppress them here.
Right. So we have a range of Chinese nationals or ethnic Chinese who were born in China in the U.S. Some of them become naturalized citizens. Many of my friends, many of the people that I know in my community, they came here as students, often as grad students to do their PhD work, very well educated, came from good families back in China. They were fairly well off there, and they wanted freedom. They wanted educational opportunities in the West, and they came to America. They came to Canada and other countries around the world. And they then became naturalized citizens. And these are, the educated and well-spoken people who've been in America for decades in some cases, and some of their kids are my colleagues now too. So you have that, and then you have more recently you have a whole flow of people that are coming in looking for work. You have people who've escaped persecution and seeking asylum. You have refugees who came in through Thailand and other countries where the United Nations and U.S. government worked to resettle them here in America. But you also have people who, especially in recent years, have snuck across the border, especially from the South, and entered here illegally. And there's triads and all kinds of mafia, and there's money laundering, and there's working with the cartels, and there's sneaking in fentanyl, and there's all these different things that they're involved in. So you have a wide range of people that have come into the country. But the people that the CCP is going after, they're not the drug dealers. They're not the violent criminals who escaped China and are here. They're going after the people who have in many ways become American, who came here because of the freedom this country has to offer and because it is so different from China. And even if they don't proactively look for trouble, they're not necessarily rebel rousers going around starting media entities or doing things like that, although I do have good friends who do that. But they just speak their mind, maybe to the wrong person, or maybe on a blog or on social media. And the Chinese Communist Party, they have entities in China. It's very interesting the way that they do it. So every city or province in China has a corresponding city or state here in America or region that they're responsible for. For example,
hey, I'm so glad that you're here and watching this segment, and I hope you find it really interesting. The rest of it gets even more in depth, but it has information that this particular platform doesn't really want you to know. So please head on over to my Rumble channel and start about the 10-minute mark. I hope to see you there,